Good evening. Bring you news updates on PM edition of 247 Connect. Now, let's listen to the details. In the news today, the government has granted Barari DV Ghana Limited, a subsidiary of Atlantic Lithium Limited, a 15-year mining lease to commence the construction and mining of lithium at Ewoyaa in the Mfantseman area of the central region of Ghana. The lease incorporates new and enhanced terms intended to ensure that the country benefits optimally from this mineral. This, however, includes an increase in royal rate, state and Ghanaian participation, as well as value addition to the mineral mine. Tragically in the news, lawyer Koto Ampao, who represented President Akufo-Addo in the 2020 election petition, is reported dead. Sources indicate that he died in the early hours of Friday, October 20, at the University of Ghana Medical Center, and according to available information, the lawyer has not been well since the beginning of 2023. Meanwhile, lawyer Ampao has an impeccable legacy in the legal fraternity, especially championing human rights campaigns and fair justice. Meanwhile, two women alleged to be sex workers wept uncontrollably when the Takwa Circuit Court sentenced them to 17 years in prison in hard labor for trafficking 4 girls and forcing them into sex trade. Precious Emmanuel, 30, was handed 10 years for trafficking 3 of the victims, and Success John, 28, will serve 7 years for trafficking 1 girl. However, the two, charged with human trafficking and use of trafficked persons, pleaded guilty and prayed to the court, presided over by Mrs. Hathia Mamenu, for forgiveness and repatriation to Nigeria. And now moving into the flooding issue, where the minority leader in Parliament, Dr. Kaisel Atokpa-Forson, has implored President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to apologize to flood victims from the Akosombo Dam spillage and also acknowledge that he erred in telling them that they do not vote for him. For him, the president's comment when he visited the flooded areas last Monday was in a bad taste, hence the need for President Akufo-Addo to apologize to the flood victims of the Akosombo Dam spillage. Meanwhile, Dr. Atokpa-Forson made the call when the minority on Friday visited some victims of the dam spillage to donate some relief items. And now let's hit on the market front. The Ghana cedi is now going for 12 cedis 10 pesos against the US dollar on the forex or retail market. This is despite forecasts by many analysts and research institutions that it will end the year at an average of 11 cedis 60 pesos to the American greenback. However, some forex bureaus indicate that the demand for the dollar is high 2 months before the Christmas season. Meanwhile, there had been significant foreign exchange demand from local corporates and importers ahead of the festive season. While still in business, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has confirmed the establishment of a monitoring desk by the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana to observe the finances of the Ghana Cocoa Board. The Ghana Cocoa Board, which is mandated to supervise the production and export of cocoa in the country, is reeling under huge annual losses, which the International Monetary Fund has identified as a major threat to the sector in government's fiscal efforts. Meanwhile, the minister, in an interview, indicated that the purchase of fertilizers and the construction of cocoa roads will be strictly monitored to ensure they are within budget limits. And now let's look at some news on the international front. The military government in Niger says it has foiled an attempt by the deposed former president Mohamed Bazoum to escape from custody. According to a military spokesman, the former president attempted to flee in the night with his family, cooks, and security. There were plans for the group to fly out on helicopters, but the plan was foiled. Mr. Bazoum has been under house arrest since members of his presidential guard staged a coup in late July. Niger is part of the African region known as the Sahel, a belt of semi-arid land that stretches from the Atlantic Ocean to the Red Sea. Just south of the Sahara Desert, the area is plagued by jihadists and beset by military regimes. Now, lawyer Sidney Powell pleaded guilty to reduced charges Thursday over efforts to overturn Donald Trump's loss in the 2020 election in Georgia, becoming the second defendant in the sprawling case to reach a deal with prosecutors. Powell, who was charged alongside Trump and 17 others with violating the state's anti-racketeering law, entered the plea just a day before jury selection was set to start in her trial. She pleaded guilty to 6 misdemeanors related to intentionally interfering with the performance of election duties. As part of the deal, she will serve 6 years of probation, will be fined $6,000, and will have to write an apology letter to Georgia and its residents. And now straight into sports. FC Barcelona leaders, including President Joan Laporta and Sporting Director Deco, have confirmed that club legend Lionel Messi will have a farewell match to honor his legacy once the Spotify Camp Nou has been renovated. Messi left Barca in tears in 2021, shortly after Laporta had been elected for a second reign with the Catalans. He had promised Messi's contract renewal as part of his mandate on the campaign trail, but then failed to deliver this when financial fair play issues arose. Defensive midfielder Mohamed Sharif says his dream to play for Kumasi Asante Kotoko Sporting Club is now a reality as he starts for the club. He confessed this in an interview on Kotoko's official media channel after a quick turnaround in the fortunes of the Porcupine Warriors. The 2021-2022 league champions had no wins after 3 games in the 2023-2024 Bet Power Premier League season, but has bagged 2 wins in a row to move up to 5th place in the 18-team league standings. While touching on several team-related issues, Sharif spoke about his dream to play for Kotoko becoming reality after joining Kotoko in 2021. And finally in the news, the MTV Europe Music Awards have been cancelled over devastating events in Israel and Gaza. The show was scheduled to take place in Paris on 5th November with performances from BTS's Jungkook and former Little Mix star Lian. Doja Cat, Miley Cyrus, Olivia Rodrigo, SZA, Taylor Swift, and Nicki Minaj were nominated for Best Artist. At least 3,700 people have been killed in Gaza since Israel launched retaliatory airstrikes, Palestinian health officials say. Paramount said its show will now be rescheduled for November 2024. The GMAs have been running since 1994, when it was first hosted in Berlin, Germany. Nollywood legendary actor Kanayo is cautioning people, especially Nigeria's activist Reno Omokri and controversial commentator Very Dark Man, to desist from using Mr. Ibu's name to gain traction. On Wednesday, veteran Nigerian comic actor John Okafor, fondly known as Mr. Ibu, shared a video announcing that he has been diagnosed with an illness that could lead to the amputation of his legs. Very Dark Man described the video as a shame on the Nollywood industry for its failure to set up a system that sees to the welfare of its legends. Reacting, Kanayo via a video on his verified Instagram account warned people not to use Mr. Ibu's illness to chase clout on social media. And this is where we draw the curtains down. Thanks for watching.